Oh, yeah. Oh, I feel sim speed issues. Are we sim speed issues? Yeah, we are. Okay. Wow, wow, wow. Looks like Hot Tub My Machine expanded here in my absence. It's unfortunate with the performance issues, so I'm kind of suspecting that... Oh, and we have a pirate ship as well. We printed the pirate ship. Okay, so the ship's going to be scrapped to build a better one. If we're worried about SimSpeed, maybe we should make a subathon for the finale of the season and then have a mod set up some sort of event. It's always the limit, Frank. We can't really play after SimSpeed gets to a certain point. It's just not fun. I mean, I just hate it after... Anything less than 0.7, I'm just like crying inside. It's been a good run so far. I mean, we're on day 7. Week 8, sorry. This is stream 7, but actually, I believe it's week 8 of it being up. I mean, people have done crazier stuff in the past, right, really? I remember people used to be happy with 3.3 sim speed survival, but I can't do it. Just simply the fact that everything takes 3 times as long, and then you end up, you know, the streams getting third stuff done. You see what I mean? Guys, I got a question for you. I'm seeing more and more old timers leave SE. What things do you think, either as someone who has left or just a spectator or someone who's playing and thinks this, what do you guys think would bring players back to play SE? You know, would something like this industrial overhaul mod with loads of new ores and complexity and production, or would you want something like NPCs? You know, like having like NPC threats and hordes and waves, who knows? Like we've been doing in the thing. I know stuff to do is the big thing, but fix it. I mean, the performance is, I get that, but that's not actually what the poll we did recently was. When saying, would you rather just have SE that's like fixed or more features and more things to do? Honestly, people would rather have it in its current state stability wise, but just some more features. So this is my question to you guys. I'm thinking of the Bruce. There's no Immatarium. Immatarium peeps just don't play anymore. I want to know players like them because I'm sensing like it could be a trend. SC's still got plenty of players and it's up and down, but I still feel like we're losing some old timers because it's been 7 years. So I just want to know like what would be so game changing. You could say aerodynamics or something, but I don't know if that would be enough. Like even water. I mean, water probably would be. People probably would come back if it was water, but I don't know if like having actual like mission. So something to do your grid, stuff to do, SE2, NPC interactions. Oh no, Jirax is saying game engine overhaul over content. Making SE not just a sandbox. More NPC customization, make SE an actual game, a better game, fixes over content, a goal. Shooting more content to a busted game leads to people leaving. We definitely want more things to do. Combat the threat of NPC money to do stuff in survival. Let's be honest though, SC's has always had its quirks and people have still played. That's why I also would just like a fixed game. But actually, the fact that we're using so much mods and still having a great time, we haven't had that many issues. So performance, yes, but fixes like, I don't know, like there are broken things, but there's been nothing like punching me in the face recently that's like really annoying. And I think players have played SC in early access and in a lot worse times and still had good times, you know? Yeah, so like, let's just say Weapon Core was vanilla. That would be great. Obviously tournament scene, mods, whatever. But again, it would be great, but from the gameplay point of view, you still have to kind of make your own combat, make your own things, you know? I think plenty of people have just gotten into SC. Plenty of people are actually, you know, fine with it. I just noticed that lots of people in the community who used to be big SE players are not playing anymore. And that's okay. There's new games out. You take a break. I've already said this. It's always great to there's always great to take a break. But it's the fact that I feel like some of these breaks have been going on longer than others, you know, like in the sense that it's not just a couple months break. It's been like a year break. Or even Kevis, maybe. I don't know. Plenty of you guys watch the game and support the stream, which obviously is amazing and entertained, I assume, I hope. My question is, what would get you to play the game again? Yeah, so Escape from Mars, you like that. Not a scenario specifically, but the NPC and the threat of them. Kevin's saying we have access to water, weapon core. It's not vanilla, but we have access to it. People will bring back. That's a good point though. A lot of players don't play mods, which is a point. A lot of mods aren't available on Xbox, for example. But like, I think still, from memes and everything else, I think if you ask people what do you want most in SE, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I feel like water would be the top of the list, and water would bring a huge amount of new gameplay areas to, you know, you can build in, you can create ships and submarines and all kinds of stuff like we've seen. It would be cool, and it would give maybe many more hours to have play survival differently, and you know, not that I mean, how many people are subbed to Jack's water mod, for example, right? The majority of owners of space engineers have never even tried the water mod. But I feel like NPCs would actually be... It's not the most feasible because it's so super complex. But after playing with that AI enabled mod, I do feel like having a world with NPCs in it, be it like cooperative and like assistance and stuff, or like in economy stations, there would have some populated with some NPCs walking around. You could get mission givers and whatever. I feel like that could change it. You know, when you go into a station, there's people walking around. They could just be doing generic stuff, but it's that feeling, and that's what that mod did. It was the feeling of making the world alive. I mean, this is great. Like playing I mean, that's the problem though. Like right now, I feel alive. We're in this cool ass hangar, walking around this blueprint table. We got some guys. They're playing. They're real people hanging out. Good times. So Climb says 60% of players play offline survival. That's insane. All this multiplayer hype and love, but the majority of our players just play in their own private worlds, having a good time, which actually, again, strengthen the NPC idea. So unless you're playing with me on survival or whatever, you're playing in single player. Is that right? The truth is, no one really knows what they want until someone puts something in. That's why mods are so popular. There's no end to the things you could add. Right. It's a challenge. That's it. There's a bazillion ways you can make and use, like, make grids and have weapons and mods and atmospheric and underwater. It does seem, not for everyone, I'm not saying this is a problem like all, but the one thing that keeps coming back is, what do we do with these things you've built? I feel multiplayer would be more popular if you could keep a server stable longer. As it stands, the more you do, the more the game slows down. I guess that's a good point, because in single player, that world will last a hell of a lot longer because it's just you working your way around the universe. You might be making the same amount of progress as you are in single player, but the problem is there's another 20 odd players who are doing the same progress. So performance... So actually, oh, hello, this needs to be repasted as well, I think. I think also, because there's nothing to do with the grids, potentially, people don't fight on servers unless it's like organized on the whole, or griefing. Well, I'm making a generalization here, but do you think like people build up their like huge bases and armadas and then they don't want to lose that stuff? Right? Would that be accurate? They stay in their own little pocket of the universe, taking up more and more performance as they go. It's true. I mean, you can spend a week building on a ship and lose it in 5 minutes, well, 10 seconds, right? KO. But how do you solve that problem? Because you can't make... I mean, obviously, instant projectors, 3D printing factories, people already do that stuff. But is there another solution to that? Because making ship armor buff, armor core, when? I don't know. Let's say you had something like instant projector in SE, vanilla, or like Rexar shipyards, where you could just put in resources and out comes a ship. Does anyone not like that? The problem is, it means there's no point to building like all the engineering, like welding craft and stuff like that. So is it like an end tier? Is it like something that you can only acquire later? And what would be the in-between then? And is having ships being built easier the only way to encourage like PvP and to actually people to use the stuff on servers? I mean, if it's NPCs and there's like, you know, NPC stations to take out and board and so on, removing core SE concepts is a good... I mean, yeah, I mean, if you want to ignore like needing to build and engineer solutions and call it, I don't know, space survival, then I guess it doesn't matter so much. You can just like make the resource, drill, mine, refine, assemble, and then just like automate. So I guess that would be like that. There's not one solution. I mean, that's also true. I don't want to build a lot of grids, but the one I build, I want to use for something other than war, RP, and multiplayer. If I build a big, I just want to... Well, I think the other thing is, what we were talking about fighting. What about the other purposes of a ship? Like exploration, right? I always think of, obviously Elite Dangerous, but I also think of, what was that game? Pulsar. Was it Pulsar Lost Colony? And obviously this had the subsystems and the crew who all had control of the subsystems, but you landed on a planet and then you kind of like, well, you didn't land exactly. I think it was automated, but still there was like some planet to explore and you found stuff, right? You don't. Very funny, guys. Very, very funny. But you know what I mean? The point is that, would that be a reason then? The problem is a lot of gameplay loops, as long as you have fun. I'm still thinking a lot of games, unless there is an end game, they can just be infinite missions and like generic missions and stuff you can do. I mean, there already are like that, right? I mean, there is no way to avoid eventually running out of things to do, I think. I mean, you can have procedurally generated missions in places, different planets, but you can do different tactics, I guess. But the main thing is, as long as it gives you more fun, more hours, that's the main thing, right? I think trying to come up with the ultimate solution for like unlimited Space Engineers gameplay. It's pretty hard. I mean, heck, with StarCore, right? We've developed this whole new sub-community of people. The challenges, there could be, there's an infinite possibilities of different style tournaments, different like genre. We can have different like theme tournaments and small. There's a whole new thing there. That's it, right? It's a toolbox, and we've created this new thing, and there can be streams for millennia of tournament and different acts, and as long as try and keep it fresh, but on the whole, there's a lot of potential there. So there's still a lot of potential in SE, other things to do, organized stuff to do. But I think the question is still the base game, the base survival. I mean, heck, when was the last time I played Vanilla SE? The only time I play Vanilla SE is when I'm doing like some Vanilla Showcase, right? The question is, what does the base game need to make it more appealing? And this whole conversation started because I'm thinking of the Bruces out there, the Bruces and the Imitarium fam. A lot of the old timers who have moved on, like Star Driver, not everyone. A lot of people are still playing, stick around. Different things interest them. They find new ways, but a lot of people have moved on, and some of it is just life. People get, move on, they study, they get a job, they have to do things, their schedule changes, they can't play. But I know for sure there are people who want to play, but they don't feel a reason to play. So the question is simply, not simple actually, it's not a simple question. The question is, what feature or features would be significant enough to get some of these old timers to be like, heck, I'm installing SE again. That's the whole point. But anyway, I'll be back in a second, guys, and then yeah, we can. I'll get to work with the guys. I gotta check the profile here. Hold on, guys. We're gonna check the profiler. Hold on. So am I gonna name and shame this stuff? Am I? Which faction has the most illegal grid? It is TEC. So TEC are actually taking 246 milliseconds, and that's double Space Engineers X. Oh, this is the base. Yeah, this is the grid. Not even this isn't even the entire faction actually. Now I looked at it. That's a Yeetin, Drake Carrier, whatever the heck that is. It drops off quite quickly. I think this is our base here. New Xoc base. It's 35 milliseconds. I mean, look at that. It's not even the freaking pipes. It's this TEC base, PvE. Space Engineers X base is also pretty shenanigans. Drake Carrier. So there you go. That's performance hogs. Let's have a look at the overall faction with all the grids taken into account. Oh, the heresy that is Space Engineers X. Right at the top though. Right at the top, Space Engineers X with half a second. Heresy. TEC behind with 400. U's with 210. And us in fourth place. Tub in fourth place with 186. Hot Boys following, then falls off quite quickly after that. Gok. I mean, these are all the smaller factions, right? So there's the situation check of what's going on. All right, John Wack is bothering me to look at their base. The heck is that? What is that? I wish I never came here. Roni, where are you at? I'd expect this from Hot Boys, not Space Engineers X, but all right. It honestly seems pretty efficient, though. It actually seems like it's pretty good. Moving around just fine. Maybe it's more stable than Wheel. I don't know. This is why Space Engineers X are expanding their air force here. I count at least 5 jets, possibly more in storage. Wow, this is going to be a super cool dot. Look at this. Wow, oh, that's a cool gun. They're welding up like a Gauss destroyer or something. What is that? What is that gun? I'm not sure what it is.
I'm pretty sure. No, it's not, is it? I was gonna say it's the flak gun that we have on top of our base.
No, that ain't the flak gun.
It's the rail gun.
It looks like one of the bigger rail guns.
These are the Lynx. Oh, I see. These are the Lynx rail guns. Is that a hovercraft? Oh man, it is. That's so cool. Look at that. Cool. Look at that. That is legit. It's like a proper full-on like landing, like transport hovercraft. Can you just drive it onto the beach for us? Yeah, it can go on land. It's a bit steep, but yeah, that's the whole point. That's what the tires are all about. It's a hovercraft. On the underside, you can see it uses the wheel sliding technique. Awesome. Right, let's look at the destroyer again. Hold on, what am I looking at? Someone told me to look at the destroyer again. Under the base. Whoa, like a... That's so cool. I'm loving this base a lot, actually. This is super nice. Like an evil villain submarine underneath. John, this is awesome. Great job working with the Space Engineers X crew. This base has grown a lot. You've got the factories setting up. You've got this cargo area. Yeah, I'm realizing that, guys, we got to pump up our production here because this is some insane stuff these guys have got cooked up. They could wipe us out with a tactical nuke, no problemo. I love how they're building destroyers. It's so super cool though. They had a pipeline going to the lava, right? But John told me not to follow it. So I think there might be something under the water here, but I might get banned if I look at it. Math's coming in with the question that we've been asking tonight. But why? Okay. But I mean, let me put on the math voice. Okay. No, I can't. I was trying to put this. Because you put 3 OKs. Like, who does that? Okay.
Why build any of this? Why do any of this? What is the goal?
And what do you say to that, guys? What is the answer? I was going to say that one of the dreams I always had was the idea of having an underwater base with a moon pool, like Subnautica style, deep in the ocean. And there's a ship, and you're like going about, you've got all these bubbly tubes, you're looking out at the fish and all the aquatic life and stuff. You get into your moon pool. Moon pools are cool, right? And you jump into your ship, you leave the moon pool, you fly through some like underwater valley, trench, some underwater volcanoes and stuff, and then you start to surface, and as you approach the surface, your like engines kick in and you like blast out the surface, fly through the clouds, maybe fly through some floating avatar mountains or something, and then you just out into space, jump drive, boom, Noah planet. Like that's like some kind of like fantasy I've had, I guess, about SE. Just like yeah, I mean, you can do it technically now. It might not be as graceful as what I just described, but that's what we just saw. This submarine, these guys have got. They can. I don't think this one is spacefaring, but you could easily make one that could go to space. And I think this is a super cool idea, actually. Like having water bases is nice.
Like I've said, you should see my new boat I've created.
I'm coming. I'm back at our base now. Nice, very nice.
You can't see the sails on it, but the sails are huge. Like in my creative world where I have this base and the ship out in the water there, is that it's taller than the base, even when it's out in the water. So
impressive. I feel like though, if we're going to build a ship, I feel like we should build something maybe
more modern.
Well, no, just carrier potential. I think would be cool, so we can have a.
I forgot to mention the boat can fly.
Oh, okay. Well, that's something, I guess.
And it can fly a bit too well because it looks really stupid whenever it flies. So
biggest issue is survival isn't really survival without a threat to your creations. So PvE can solve that if there was some sort of 7 days to die raids in your base kind of deal. Assertive installation mod does a pretty good job of fixing that, but it could be better ways. I just hope that people will be okay, because I still feel like, what kind of threats would you guys not mind attacking your base? Because at the same time, and I think of some of the threats you've had in the past. I mean, they're not. I know what people will ideally want, but I feel like people often are annoyed when some like NPC or in mod some NPC or something comes and like takes out their base, right? And it's like frustrating. Maybe it's just because when there's no defense, like I don't know, like obviously lightning is something, but that's like another whole different topic. But sometimes when it comes to survival, people are very protective over their bases and their builds, and if something takes them out, other than their own like stupidity and their crashing or whatever, it's very annoying to a lot of players. So yeah, so threats you can expect, that makes sense. I mean, the level of encounters should be based on the progression the player has made. Honestly, I don't get why people feel like assertive threats are necessary for a good survival experience. I think one of the problems is Equinox, is that there's so many different ways that people like to play SE. Some don't want any of that stuff in there. Also, lots of people have opinions of what would make the game better, survival, whatever, but in practice maybe it isn't what they actually want. You know, there's lots of things that people think they want, but actually if it was there, maybe they'd actually hate it. I don't know. I'm not saying it would, but yeah.
Have you guys watched the new YouTube video? Have you also liked, commented and subscribed? Okay, hit that bell notification. Okay.